This microphone right here could replace the Shure SM7b at a fraction of the cost. Hey everyone, in my hand today is the Tank1 microphone from FIFINE. Now this mic is built to look similar and sound similar and respond very similar to one of the most popular broadcast content creator style mics on the market, and that is the Shure SM7b. So today we're going to take a look at some of the key features. You're already hearing it and you'll hear it for the majority of the video, and then I'm going to compare it to the actual Shure SM7b so you can decide if you need to spend, premium dollar to get the name brand product, or if you can get away with spending a lot less, a fraction of the cost actually, to get a competitor. And that's that. I'm going to share my thoughts and you will formulate your own thoughts. Full disclosure, FIFINE did send this to me free of charge. They did not specify what I need to say or anything. And last time I worked with them on the FIFINE Tank1 microphone, they really wanted me to just compare this to the Shure SM7b. So that's what I'm going to do again today. However, all of my opinions are my own and all of that good stuff. So the Tank1 is a dynamic cardioid microphone specifically built and catered around vocals, voiceovers, broadcast applications, all of that kind of thing. However, if it's anything like the Shure SM7b, it'll work great for like percussion, guitar amps, snare drums, whatever, really. It's just a good all-around sounding microphone, very balanced and even in response. This mic has an XLR connection on the back, regular 3-pin XLR, nothing crazy there. It'll work with whatever interface situation you have going on. According to their website, the frequency response is 50 Hertz all the way up to 15K, but that can be adjusted on the back with the low cut. High pass, low cut. So that adjusts the frequency response to 150 to 15K. So it gets rid of that 50 to 150 super low end. On the back, just like the SM7b, there's a presence boost switch. I'll turn it on now. This will give you a mid boost of about 4 decibels at 3K, and that goes all the way down to 1.3K at about a decibel, and all the way up to 6K at about 1 decibel. So you have a nice smooth bell boost there just to boost the overall presence. So let's play with these a little bit. Here's nothing. All right, this is the sound of the Tank1 microphone with nothing. Now we're gonna roll off the low end. Check, check, check. Rolled off the low end. Now we're gonna boost the presence. So that gives you a wide range of what you can do with this microphone, and it helps you to dial it in on different sources and just get a good sound quickly. As far as the other construction, this mic is very solid. It's an all metal construction. You have these nice twists on the side. I'll do a close-up shot to show you, but you can loosen that up and be able to kind of angle this on the swivel however you want. You have a standard threaded mic mount on the bottom to put it on a mic stand, classic stuff. The 2 switches on the back are solid, and that is all there is to it. So I really appreciate a mic like this that just goes for that simplicity, and it's just simple, It's just simple. Functionally, the only difference between these two is the Shure SM7b has the little spinny thread right there to help you mount this in the orientation that works best for you. And this one does not have that. So you have to, twist the mic on like you regularly would. And that did cause me some issues on this, my little boom arm, because when I tried to put this on, you got to do one of these and then the cable gets all annoying. So when I tried to put it on, it's challenging because the cable gets all twisted up, but then I had trouble getting it in the right direction. And I know this is a really specific use case, but I had this, it's got to be a certain way so I can see my screen and see the camera and talk to you. And so I did have a little bit of issues with that, not having the threaded mount, but in most cases, you'd be on a regular mic stand or something like that where you don't have to worry about that as much. But that's just a note. If you are using it for that boom arm application, just be a little wary, be ready for a little bit of resistance there, getting it angled how you want. All right, so now I've got my headphones on, I've got my Shure SM7b here, and I just want to go back and forth so we can all hear the difference and know once and for all, what the difference is. Which mic is better, which mic is not. So this is the Tank1 I'm currently speaking into. I have all the switches set flat, so that is no low cut. Okay. Oh, weird. What was that? What was that? And I don't even know what mic that was on. I'll have to check that later. That was weird. I don't know if I'll include that part, but so right now I'm speaking into the Tank 1 microphone. All the switches are set flat, so that is no low roll off, no presence boost, mid boost, whatever you want to call it. And now we're on the Shure SM7b. All of the switches are set flat, so that's no high pass, low cut, and no mid boost. So far they sound really similar. Check, check, check. This one, okay. This one feels like it's got a little more like low mid kind of response. And this one feels like it's got a little cut in the low mids or something like that. I don't know if you can hear it. This sounds more broadcasty and this sounds more balanced and flat. So depending on what you're looking for there, you might have a preference. But let's go ahead and dip the little switches. One thing to note as I was physically struggling there, the switches on the Tank 1, you can just reach over and switch. And the switches on the Shure SM7b, you need like a guitar pick or a pen or something to, because it's like recessed in there. That, you know, depending on what you're doing, if you're doing it yourself, you might prefer switches. But if you're setting up like the Shure SM7b for somebody, for the talent, and you don't want them messing with the switches, then you might want them a little recessed. You know, just something to note. We're talking about it. Okay, so I rolled off the lows and now we're going to do some proximity effect and get really up in there. This does not sound too boomy, which is nice. Check, check, check. And this also does not. Honestly, I kind of prefer this one at close range. It feels like it deals with that mid buildup a little bit better. Check, check, check. This one, it's not too bad. So proximity effect is handled pretty well on both microphones. Now let's try a presence boost. Okay, now we're on the Tank 1 with the presence boost. And here's the Shure SM7b with the presence boost. Now, to my ear, I think I like the Tank 1 better with the presence boost. It feels more of a lift, more of a presence boost, whereas the Shure SM7b feels a little more subtle. Granted, I am hearing my own voice in my head, so cut me some slack. But let me know your thoughts so far on those. Now, one thing that stands out to me as a possible, red flag, yellow flag, is on the Tank 1, there is no pop filter on the outside. So let me turn off that low cut. So pops, when I say pops, I mean like plosives. Some people, when they talk, they're really heavy. They have powerful like P and B sounds. You know that like all of that kind of sound. So I was curious how the plosives and powerful P sounds sound on this mic versus the plosives and powerful P sounds on this mic. Hold on. Okay, versus the plosives and powerful P sounds on the Shure SM7p. So I definitely noticed with plosives, there's definitely more plosives on the Tank 1 microphone, whereas the Shure SM7b handles those plosives really freaking well. Sorry, I'm being a nerd. So if you are a plosive offender, if you know you have lots of P's and B's that get out there, you might want to go for the Shure SM7b over this one just for its added ability to handle those plosives. So who should get the Tank 1 and save the money, or who should spend that extra money to get the Shure SM7b? So definitely, if you are on a budget, if you want to save money, I mean, we all are to an extent, but the Tank 1 would be better for that specifically because it is around $130 US, I believe, whereas the Shure SM7b is like $400 or so US. So big difference there just for a pop filter, maybe. So you could totally, get the Tank 1 and just bring your own pop filter, if you're concerned about the plosives. If you don't care about the threaded and the pop filter, then the Tank 1's definitely better for you. I also like that it plugs in the back. The Shure SM7b has the weird plug on the bottom, which can sometimes get in the way of the mic stand and that kind of thing. So you have to be a little conscious with the Shure SM7b about your mic stand situation because it's going right out the bottom. It's not a huge deal breaker by any means, but we're talking about it. So who would be better off with the Shure SM7b? Number one, if you care about the name brand, especially if you're in a situation where if you're hosting a big video podcast or something with a lot of eyes on it, you might be one of those people that cares about the name and you might not want the FIFINE name out there, which I understand, but you're paying 3-4 times as much for that name. I would also get the Shure SM7b if you're in a specific weird angle. I mentioned this before, but if you're in a specific weird angle where you need the threaded adapter, that is something I wish they would have put on the Tank 1. I feel like it wouldn't have been too hard to do that, and that would have really helped. It was challenging for me to get the right angle when I set it up with my boom. Also, as I'm sitting here filming this, when there's no sound happening, the Shure SM7b is noisier. The Tank 1, it could be because I don't have to gain it up as loud. It doesn't require as much gain, but it is quieter. It's a quieter microphone. So if you're in like a really quiet set, or you have a quiet speaker, or you just need that extra headroom, that extra volume, I think the Tank 1 is actually better for that, just because of this is a louder microphone. The SM7B is notoriously quiet and gain hungry. So if you have a cloud lifter or the Soyuz launcher or something like that to boost, like an inline preamp to boost the volume, that might not be as big of a deal to you. But if you don't have that, you don't want to deal with that, either get this, or you can get like the Shure SM7DB, I think it is, where they built in that preamp and that extra gain. Multiple options out there, just so you are aware. But I'd love to hear what you think. Let me know down in the comments which mic you preferred and why you liked that one better. Thanks again for watching, and if you enjoyed this, please make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.